Hi Libra, thank you for joining me here for another reading at Leaping Lotus Tarot. Take a deep breath for me if you would. It helps ground yourself into the present moment. Set your intention for the answers that you're looking for in this reading. Please only take the messages that resonate for you and leave what doesn't for somebody else. I am using, I will put in the description box the Oracle deck and the Tarot deck that I'm using. Actually, what I've been doing lately is I've been linking people directly to my shop. I built a bookshelf of every single Oracle and Tarot deck that I have, and you can click on it and have the Amazon affiliate link. So that's actually probably the easiest way, is to find my decks there. So without further ado, the first card we got out from the Oracle deck is called Authentic Truth. Super powerful message there. So I'm going to maybe grab like two more just to kind of get the common themes, and we'll dive into the tarot. So what themes need to come out for Libra? What messages do they need to hear to kind of set the tone for the reading of this tarot? Drop in the comments if there's a certain part that stands out to you. Hit like and subscribe if you have not already. Okay. Grounding. Ooh. So you definitely got to spend some time with the earth. Take your shoes off. I'm serious. If you're noticing back pain, neck pain, joint pain of any kind, inflammation, gut pain, headaches, anything, you got to take your shoes off and you got to go walk in the sand. You got to go walk in the dirt, and you should do it for probably 20 to 30 minutes. I live by an ocean, so I'm very lucky that if I need to go ground, I can take my shoes off and literally breathe salt air from the ocean and ground on the sand. So there's something right now with authentic truth and grounding. You might really be getting into yoga right now. Okay, oh, we got two more. Okay, visualize and meditation. Okay, so what's really cool about the visualize card is like, that's how you create, right? That's how you create your reality, is you imagine it, you envision it before it happens. You believe it as if it's already happened. The brain, I mean, there's studies that show this, the brain cannot tell whether you're actually doing something or not. So the more you visualize, the more you're integrating it into your reality. There's not really a past and a future, right, that we live in. We live always in the now. So by the time that the thing comes to you that you're looking to have happen, it's going to happen in the now, right? So you change the energy now so that when now happens in the future, that's your now, if that makes sense. And then meditation. This one's always really hard because, not everybody wants to meditate. It takes, time, and you feel like you should be productive doing something else. But since we have grounding, and then we like how we have visualized too, this is someone like in a sort of meditative pose. What I'm really getting with this though is that you can gain the benefits of what you're trying to achieve that meditation gives you, as far as decreasing your stress levels, helping you regulate your breathing. All of that can be achieved through yoga as well. It can be achieved through singing, because you have breath control and singing, and you're also in the moment, right? You're not thinking about other things. You're thinking about the song. You're thinking about the words. So yeah, that's a meditative practice. Same thing with exercise in general is a meditative practice, because you're focused on the moment and you're focused on your breath. That is meditation. Silencing the thoughts, focusing on the now. Okay, with that being said, let's dive into the tarot. What does Libra need to hear today that can help them for their future? Five of Wands. This is interesting imagery. The Five of Wands is conflict energy, and usually it's in regards to other people, and it's also in regards to practice. It's competitive, combative energy with people, but it's usually in practice. So in the Rider-Waite Tarot, the wands are sort of like sticks and people are fighting, but they're practicing with, they're not actually fighting, because then it would be swords, right? That would be a lot more of a battle if it was with swords and not with sticks, right? So this is practicing, usually practicing for something, battling with people. But I always like to take the imagery of the cards that I'm using as well to factor into the message. And we have somebody here with snakes in their mind, snakes in their hair. So it's almost kind of like, is it Pandora? Is that the one with the snakes? Anyway, so what to me this means, like, this could be a conflict in your mind. It may not be conflict with other people. Maybe you're getting reps doing something. Maybe you're getting reps in changing your mindset. You're working on the snakes in your mind. So let's kind of build on that. I just pulled up the deck, and this card was still sitting down. and it was 5 of Swords, but it's in reverse. Very interesting imagery with the eye here. So now we do kind of have some swords at play. The swords represent the air signs, which is intellect, communication. So that's Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. 5 of Swords in the Rider-Waite Tarot, that normal imagery depicts like, it's also kind of a conflict card with people, but it's ultimately kind of like choosing yourself at the end of the day, because the people in the imagery are dropping their swords and walking away. They're in a beach setting, and the person is like carrying these swords, and they're looking over their shoulder, and they're watching these other people walk away. So this is an aspect of kind of choosing yourself. Tell me more about this 4 of Swords in reverse. Tell me more about just like this conflict energy in general, because 5s as well, 5s in the tarot represent a lot of change. Actually, as I say that, it's 555 on my timer here. It may not sync up with your timer perfectly, because usually I kind of crop out the end and beginning where I'm, you know, taking a deep breath and all that. But so I just got like 6 cards out here. So I'm going to kind of quickly go through these and see what the clarity is for this 5 of Swords in reverse, what this general sort of conflict energy is. We have the Lovers. This is Gemini energy. So lots of air signs coming through this Libra reading, which makes sense. You know, Libra is an air sign. So Gemini here with the Lovers. So the conflict energy could be with a partner. The Lovers also is kind of similar to like the 2 of Cups in that it could be a choice. There could be some sort of decision in love or a decision in something with a relationship. 7 of Swords. Okay, so this is some conflict energy. It's trickery, deceit, lying, hiding something. We've got these little foxes here on this tube, this on the back of this person's jacket, hiding these swords. So the sly fox, right? Someone might be kind of a little shystery here. So someone might be holding a secret. Queen of Swords in reverse, Queen of Discs upright. Okay, so if you're a feminine listening to this reading, this could be you. What I'm getting here is there's something about you not speaking your truth, or you holding some form of communication back because of the Queen of Swords in reverse. This feels like you, Libra. But what's in the upright is the Queen of Discs. This is the Pentacle energy, Earth energy. This is in regards to abundance and finance. So you're not in like your truthful energy somehow, or there's some sort of communication you're withholding, possibly with that 7 of Swords, could be with a lover or a partner. So you might be financially, you know, stable, but communication wise, you're in the reverse. So you're not upright with that. There's something unstable here. 8 of Swords in reverse and 3 of Swords in reverse. Lots of swords energy here. So with the 3 of Swords upright, that's a heartbreak card, but it's in reverse. So you might be holding this truth from this person because you might be trying to avoid some form of heartbreak. 8 of Swords in reverse is restriction, but it's in reverse. So telling the truth could set you free. Maybe you don't want to be free because you might, you know, with that 5 of Wands, you still might be battling that mental conflict with things. Let me find out some more information about this 8 of Swords in reverse, because that's a very interesting energy that we need some clarity on. Let me just shuffle the deck here. I'm clearing the deck with this cute little elephant crystal here. Clarity for the 8 of Swords in reverse, please. I just got a couple cards out. Let's see. Ooh. 6 of Swords. Yeah, so that is the clarity. It even kind of matches the imagery of that 8 of Swords. There's the person in black, and they're actually being carried away from these swords by these birds. So you will come to the decision to move away from something. The typical imagery of the 6 of Swords in the Rider-Waite Tarot deck is somebody in a boat with their child sailing away, sailing towards something else. So it seems like you are going to choose yourself at the end of the day with this. The 5 of Discs, though, is what's tricky, because we have a lot of eye imagery actually coming through, which could kind of represent the third eye, you know, your intuition, your own sort of inner wisdom. That could be kind of a subtle little significance to this reading. But the 5 of Discs is being left out in the cold, not feeling the warmth and the comfort of other people. which, you know, we also had, this is the third 5 that we've had. So a lot of change is potentially happening here. And so being left out in the cold, the imagery is, you know, somebody being left outside of a church. So this could be a message, you know, there's different ways you can interpret this. It could be saying you could find, you know, collaboration from people in a church if you felt inspired to seek a different perspective and go inside to the warmth of the church and seek, you know, collaboration with people. Or it could just be kind of alluding to the fact that when you choose yourself and maybe perhaps this lover's connection and you actually do speak your truth and you don't hide whatever you're hiding with that 7 of Swords anymore, you could be dealing with this feeling of, like, if they leave you or you leave them, you're going to feel out in the cold, you're going to feel lonely in some aspect. But the beautiful part of this is that we have Temperance here. This is balance. This is a beautiful major arcana card, Sagittarius energy, a fire energy. This is the first, no, we had 5 of Wands. This is a fire card that speaks to, like, you know, when it's in the major arcana as well, like that really speaks to sort of, this is the first, I think, major arcana we've gotten in this reading so far. All the rest of the cards we've been doing are part of the minor arcana. And so this is a big deal. This balancing act is a big deal. You can see this angel here shifting the water back and forth into these cups. Balancing cups is water, emotion, balancing the emotion, balancing things. So this Temperance card, when you choose yourself, when you choose the 6 of Swords, when you decide to quit restricting yourself and not speaking your truth, you know, 8 of Swords in reverse, Queen of Swords in reverse, you're going to come into balance. So ultimately, that seems like the highest path for you is to do that, to be in your, here we go, authentic truth, right? Okay, let's just see. Let's wrap it up. We're already 12 minutes in, so let's just see. Any final messages that we need to have from the tarot that I have not spoken upon yet that would be beneficial for Libra to hear? Any final messages? This is a lot. I just want a couple. Messages that Libra needs to hear to wrap up this reading. Again, guys, if you haven't already, please hit like on this. Okay, this is a lot of cards. Final messages. Prince of Discs. There could be another masculine that comes in at some point that meets you at that financial level that you're looking for. But it's weird that we have the Empress in reverse. I'm not really sure why I would have the Empress in reverse. I might need to get some clarity on that. 10 of Wands. It does just feel like you're kind of in a journey with all this. This is, you know, carrying a heavy load, carrying the burden of weight on your shoulders towards a destination. Ace of Swords in reverse. Again, more like a lack of clarity or decisiveness on what to do about a situation. So I'm going to go ahead and get clarity for that Ace of Swords in reverse and the Empress in reverse, because I feel like when you have that Ace of Swords upright and you have that divine guidance and clarity and support, that Empress card, which is a very powerful, fertile, abundant, feminine card, can be flipped into the upright as well. This is a gorgeous energy as well, a beautiful major arcana card, the Magician, Gemini, Virgo energy. So we've already had Gemini kind of come through. You may have a lot of Gemini in your chart, not really sure, or it could just be alluding to that lover situation with the Gemini energy. So you might just be trying to, you know, and also we had the Queen of Pentacles, right? That's kind of like a Virgo. I think that is a Virgo. So it's kind of like saying the lover's energy combined with the Queen of Pentacles energy is that Gemini Virgo. And with the Magician, that's a master manifester. That's somebody utilizing all of their resources, swords, cups, wands, and pentacles, to create what they're wanting to create. Again, back to the beginning of the reading with visualize. So it's kind of like you creating harmony with that Temperance card and balance, balancing the earth and the air, balancing the groundedness, grounding. You can't make this stuff up, guys, right? Grounding, like we talked about in the beginning, grounding with the earth energy and the intellect is going to help you come into that Temperance balance and ignite your fire to what it is that you're wanting to be doing, and then flip this Ace of Swords into the upright. So I will get one final message, one final card, please, to clarify this Empress in reverse and Ace of Swords in reverse. What needs to be done, or what's the advice from Spirit here to get these cards into the upright? What kind of clarity or decision making needs to happen? 8 of Wands. So what's interesting about the Eight of Wands card is this has multiple kind of interpretations that I've heard from readers. One of them is it's a speed card. It means like moving towards something very quickly and fast. Another interpretation is thoughts, which is interesting because, well, one, we have the brain here of this person. So I would kind of tend to interpret this as a more of a thinking card, just based upon how this artist depicted this card in this tarot deck. But it's wands. So wands is passion. That's, it's not the intellect, it's not thoughts like swords is. So it's interesting that readers tend to interpret this as like a thought thing when it's not swords, it's wands. And wands is clearly passion. So it's like thinking of a passion, moving towards a passion, something that you think you're passionate about quickly. So that's the advice to get to the Princess of Wands. Wow. So there almost feels like we didn't get any rebirth cards in this deck out of this reading. And I think that's interesting because I think that's sort of the next step with this is that like the old mindsets and patterns kind of have to break down and dissolve a little bit in order for this new thing to be reborn. And the reason why I think something's going to be reborn is one, we know change needs to happen in the mental space as far as decision making or communication with a partner. And we have Princess of Wands. So remember when we had the Princess of Discs, which is Prince of Pentacles came out. That's the Prince of Earth. Now we're having the Princess of Wands, which is fire. So as your clarity comes into balance, as you balance the intellect of the sword and the earth, this will actually ignite fire. Like this will ignite your passion. But you're coming into like the princess energy. So it's like, because I was asking for clarity around the Empress too, right? So it's kind of like saying you kind of have to start over a little bit in regards to, so if this is a new relationship that ends up happening, you kind of get knocked back to a princess status. You're not in like a queen status or an empress status. You're meeting this masculine at their prince level. So it could just kind of be like starting over in that sense. It's not like you're really getting knocked back to the beginning, but you are in the sense that this is the beginning of like the fire, the passion. That's kind of what that temperance card is talking about too, balance. So there's definitely maybe a lack of passion or fire in maybe your current lover's connection. And then so if you move into a new one, you're going to be ignited. Your fire energy is going to be more ignited. So less of your mental and intellect is going to be used and your fire is going to be more used in this, and whatever it is that you come into a clarity or decisiveness or communication about. I hope that was helpful to you. As always, we will see you next time here at Leaping Lotus Tarot.